Right now, something extraordinary is happening millions of miles away, beyond the orbit of Mars, deep in the silent black sea of space. NASA's most powerful telescopes have just caught footage of something escaping from an interstellar visitor, 3I Atlas. What was thought to be a frozen, lifeless object drifting through our solar system has suddenly erupted, releasing something that shouldn't exist. And whatever it is, it's moving. Before we dive into what NASA and the European Space Agency are seeing, take a moment, hit that like button, subscribe if you love exploring the unknown, and tell me your country in the comments. I'd love to know where in the world you're watching this from, because this is not just science, it's a shared moment in human history. A moment when the universe itself seems to be whispering a new mystery into our ears. When 3I Atlas was first discovered, astronomers believed it was nothing more than a piece of rock and ice, a cosmic wanderer, drifting between stars for millions of years. It was cataloged, studied, measured. Its glowing green hue was explained as a chemical reaction, diatomic carbon illuminated by sunlight. But now, that simple explanation no longer fits, because just days ago, NASA's Solar and Heliospheric Observatory recorded a sudden outburst, not of gas or dust, but of structured light. Yes, you heard that right, structured light, a beam of energy that pulsed rhythmically, not randomly. It lasted only for seconds, but the signal it left behind has scientists at NASA, Harvard, and the ESA scrambling to understand what just happened. The object didn't just flare, it released something. A smaller fragment visible in both optical and infrared wavelengths that appears to have detached and is now moving away independently. At first, NASA assumed this was a typical outgassing event, a burst caused by internal pressure as sunlight warmed 3I Atlas's surface. But when data from the James Webb Space Telescope came in, everything changed. The escaping material wasn't just gas, it had a structure, a distinct symmetrical form. It reflected light differently from the nucleus of the object, and more intriguingly, it appeared to emit its own faint radiation signature. When Webb's spectrometer analyzed the escaping fragment, the results didn't match any known natural compound. There were traces of ionized metals, silicates, and something else, a pattern in the emission lines that repeated every 42 seconds like a code. Scientists are calling it a repeating spectral anomaly. NASA hasn't gone on record to call it artificial, not yet, but the quiet conversations happening behind closed doors tell a different story. And here's where it gets even stranger. The fragment, this glowing piece that escaped, is not drifting randomly. It's accelerating, slowly but undeniably. Over a 72-hour observation window, it increased speed by 0.3 meters per second, far too consistent to be caused by gas jets or solar wind. In other words, it appears to be guiding itself. If this were a natural rock, it would behave like all other comets and asteroids do, tumbling through space, losing mass, and following gravitational rules. But 3I Atlas is rewriting those rules. For the first time, scientists are seeing an interstellar object that seems to respond to its environment. It's as if it woke up. Now let's take a step back and remember where we are in this incredible story. This is not humanity's first encounter with an interstellar visitor. Before 3I Atlas, there was Oumuamua, the cigar-shaped object that zipped through our solar system in 2017. It too baffled scientists. It accelerated without a visible engine, without outgassing, as if propelled by an unseen hand. Back then, Harvard's Avi Loeb suggested it could be artificial, perhaps a light sail, a fragment of alien technology designed to travel between stars. Most dismissed that idea as speculation. But now, after what's happening with 3I Atlas, people are listening again. Because here's what's truly haunting. Both objects, Oumuamua and 3I Atlas, came from the same general direction in space. Statistically, that's almost impossible. The odds that two separate interstellar visitors enter our solar system from similar coordinates within just a few years of each other are so low that some scientists have started using a new term, directed trajectory. Could these objects be part of something larger? Could they be fragments of an interstellar network? Ancient messengers built by a civilization far older than ours? When I think about that possibility, I'm reminded of a profound truth about the cosmos. The universe doesn't waste energy. It doesn't make coincidences for fun. Everything has a pattern, a reason, and perhaps 3I Atlas, in its strange awakening, is part of a design that stretches across light years, whispering the same message we've long wondered about. You are not alone. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory has been analyzing the trajectory of the escaping object, and something remarkable has emerged. Its path is not just moving outward, it's curving, not under gravity, but as if under control. Over time, its motion could take it toward the inner solar system, possibly even close enough for the James Webb or other instruments to capture high-resolution images. That moment could change everything. Now imagine you're standing on a hill under a clear night sky. You look up, and the stars shimmer silently as they have for billions of years. Every one of those lights could have its own worlds, its own stories, its own life. What if, just what if, 3I Atlas is a messenger from one of them, a relic carrying the memory of a civilization that once reached for the stars the way we do now? Maybe it's not alive in the way we understand life. Maybe it's something greater, a vessel of knowledge, coded into the physics of its being. And maybe what we just witnessed wasn't something escaping at all. Maybe it was something activating. It's worth noting that NASA's infrared readings show a distinct thermal pulse moments before the release, as if a mechanism inside 3I Atlas triggered the event. There was no collision, no solar flare, nothing external to cause it, which means the energy came from within. If it's a natural object, that's an extraordinary coincidence, but if it's artificial, it might have just completed a sequence that's been dormant for millions of years, waiting for the warmth of a nearby star to awaken it. And this idea might sound fantastical, but remember, every technological marvel we have today once sounded that way. Once, we thought humans could never fly. Once, the idea of sending a signal to another planet was science fiction. And now, we do it every day. So who's to say another civilization didn't master the art of sending their knowledge across the stars, not as radio waves, but as physical messengers, seeds of their existence drifting through time and space. As this story unfolds, the emotional weight is impossible to ignore. For those who lived through the space race, who remember the voice of Neil Armstrong echoing across black and white television screens, this moment carries a familiar pulse. That same mix of fear and wonder. The feeling that we're standing at the edge of something vast, something that could redefine who we are. NASA is cautious, as always. They've stated that the escape event from 3I Atlas may be due to internal pressure pockets, similar to what happens when a comet nears the Sun. But several internal sources admit the data doesn't match that model. The geometry of the release, the symmetry, the constant acceleration, all point to an underlying mechanism we don't yet understand. Meanwhile, private observatories are capturing their own footage, raw, unfiltered, and breathtaking. In some frames, you can actually see the escaping object shimmer as if rotating, flashing faint pulses of green and violet light. Each flash, when analyzed, seems to follow a rhythm. Some researchers are calling it the heartbeat of Atlas. Could this be a signal, or simply nature playing tricks on us once again? No one can say for sure. But what we can say is this: something inside 3I Atlas has awakened, and we're witnessing it in real time. It's moments like this that remind me why we explore, because the universe still has secrets left to tell. It's easy to forget that in the everyday rush of life, bills, deadlines, routines, but when you look up at the night sky and realize that a messenger from another star might be stirring to life right now, it puts everything into perspective. Maybe 3I Atlas is trying to show us that intelligence and existence are not confined to biology. Maybe the universe itself is a living organism, stars as neurons, galaxies as clusters, and interstellar messengers like 3I Atlas as memories drifting through its cosmic mind. As we speak, NASA's deep space tracking systems are following both 3I Atlas and the object that escaped from it. Their data will soon determine if the smaller fragment maintains its acceleration, and if it does, It will be the first recorded instance of an interstellar object exhibiting self-propulsion. That would change our understanding of physics, engineering, and perhaps consciousness itself. So I ask you, what do you think? Are we witnessing a natural phenomenon or the first undeniable sign of intelligent design beyond Earth? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're as fascinated by this mystery as I am, take a moment to like this video, subscribe for more discoveries, and share it with someone who still believes in the wonder of the cosmos. Because one day, when humanity finally builds its own interstellar probes, when we send them drifting beyond the edge of the sun's reach, perhaps another civilization will look up, see one split open, and ask the same question we're asking now. What just escaped from that thing? And maybe in that moment, they'll realize, just as we're beginning to, that the universe has never been silent. It has always been alive, always communicating. We simply had to learn to listen. So as we continue watching 3i Atlas drift through the void, remember, we are the first generation to see this, to feel this awe, to look into the darkness and witness something awaken. And maybe, just maybe, what escaped from that interstellar traveler wasn't a piece of debris at all, but a message. A message written not in words, but in light. Because someday soon we may realize that the universe has been whispering to us all along. And now, finally, we're listening.